All right, guys, let's go to our games of the weekend, our previews of the weekend. Very, very interesting games, by the way. Let me run through the fixtures for this weekend in the Premier League. And games start tomorrow at 1:30 Nigerian time, 12:30 UK time, whatever 30 American time. I don't know you people's time in that your country. But Manchester City start of the weekend against Newcastle United. Arsenal take on Bournemouth at the Emirates Stadium. Crystal Palace will be at Villa Park to play against Aston Villa. Brighton versus West Ham United. Chelsea versus Leeds. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Spurs. Southampton will take on Leicester City in the last match of Saturday fixtures in the Premier League. And on Sunday, Nottingham Forest will take on Everton. Liverpool will go up against Manchester United. And on Monday, Brentford and Fulham will do battle to end our week in football. But guys, let's start off with a big one. Newcastle chasing for the top four, but in recent weeks, they've not really been that Newcastle United we saw some weeks ago, beating everybody blue-black and, staying up there with the big boys. They were in third for a long time. At some point, they actually snuck into second position. But of course, City quickly brought them back to third where they belong. But now they've dropped out of the top four. Can they do a job against a Manchester City side that seem to have found their mojo again, scoring goals for fun, playing that free-flowing football again? Bournemouth can testify to the hammering they got at the weekend in their hands. And I'm going to start with you, Femi. Manchester City, Newcastle United. What, if you were the manager, Eddie Howe, what do you do with this team to stop or to halt City's, City's pursuit of Arsenal?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to change much. Thankfully, they've got Nick Pope back.
Yeah, Nick Pope is back.
I think that was a hamstring for them against, or hamstrung by it against Man United. So lucky United won the Carabao Cup, or the Caravan Cup, if I should say it properly. I know they're very excited, but the whole idea behind how Newcastle
why do I sense jealousy?
Oh, well, it's not jealousy. It's the Caravan Cup. It's not the FA Cup. I don't know why they call it a major trophy. Look at the teams they beat. They beat Newcastle, beat was it some team in the second division? They beat three teams to win a trophy.
It's a trophy.
Well, it's a trophy, but the way they were celebrating is disgraceful, honestly. I can't believe Man United have even Sir Alex of all people was taking pictures with the Carabao Cup. The manager was dancing with the players. Imagine if they won the Champions League, how it would feel.
Femi is not paying at all.
At all.
Not at. I expected a lot better from them. Okay, so, but that's what it is. If you win, you sing. We haven't won anything, Arsenal, and we're singing every week. So, yeah, you sing when you're winning. So that's the beauty. But back to your question, I think Eddie Howe will probably do exactly what he's done. His back four picked itself very quickly at the minute. They have a settled. I'll say 9 or 10 that you can predict will be on the pitch. The players know themselves very well. They work extremely hard. And that set piece is what they'll be relying on against Man City, because they know they will not have the ball a lot of the time. Yeah. If they do get it, I see Wilson starting, so we can at least hopefully get them a free kick or two a little closer to the box, because he can run. He can run the defense. He can run the channels very well. So get a few free kicks around the box, and then you can count on the excellent England right back to put the ball, everybody's favorite right back, Kieran Trippier, to put the ball in the box, either directly into the back of the net or get someone on the end of it. So if you've got Dan Burn, you've got Fabian Schär, you've got those guys who can go up front and challenge for the ball. I think you don't want to change much. They've got a solid team. Bruno is back, and I know when Bruno plays, they play really well. So that's a plus for them. And I wouldn't change much. I wouldn't change, but they're going to suffer because City would have the ball most of the time. But that organization is what's going to help them. And when they can break away, I think with Wilson, of course, Almiron will be very, very crucial. If he plays well, I think he can cause problems for City at the back. City always concede goals, you know that. Even Bournemouth sneaked one in. So City always concede goals. If they can really, really just hold it tight at the back. And I know Nick Pope will do a job for them. So overall, I'm not worried. I think Newcastle have a strong 11 back on the pitch, and they're not going to be an easy team to beat for Man City. There's only probably going to be one goal between the two of them. Well, for me, I expect Newcastle to stand their ground and probably grab a draw. It might be 1-1, because Newcastle could score on the break, but also it might be a 0-0 draw for it's not going to be a football for the purists. You want to see goals in any game of football, but something
What's your
tells me it might be a
prediction?
0-0 or a 1-1. So a draw, uh, either way, whatever it is, I think a draw. They're not going to beat City at all, but I think they might nick a draw from there.
Eddie, you would agree that this is a vastly different Newcastle United to many of those which City has played over the years. And this has been displayed in the way Newcastle United are charging for UEFA Champions League spot, this season. Look at the way they played against Manchester United, and it was a proper beating in the hands of Manchester United, even though Femi is still beefing that cup. But one of the things that that has worked for Newcastle this season is their form on the road. In the last 8, they've won 4 and drawn 4. Can they perform the magic they did against Arsenal at the Emirates and got a point from the Emirates? Can they repeat the same thing at the Etihad Stadium?
They can. They have the same players there. I don't know if they have the same kind of mindset now, because it feels like there was a massive build-up to that cup final. It showed in their games leading up to that game. They were trying not to lose. Everybody was playing. It wasn't, if you watch the performance from Newcastle, I won't say that they weren't putting in a lot of effort. They were, but you could tell that they were preparing for that big game, right? And you're absolutely right. They were convincingly beaten, even though it was 2-0 by Manchester United. It could have been more. Now City, they tend to score more goals at home. The stats show that they score more goals at home than they do away from home. And Newcastle, they don't tend to score a lot of goals away from home. So I'm looking at that game and I'm thinking, what can Newcastle's game plan be going to City? Obviously, be defensively solid, deny Man City, time and space on the ball. And, Man City have resorted right now to sometimes playing in the long ball, against certain oppositions, because they want to try and get the ball quickly to Haaland rather than, play through the midfield. So I think there's a chance for Newcastle. It's quite interesting that at home, Man City, they rarely concede penalties, right? So you're trying to think of opportunities of how Newcastle are going to score. Like Femi has said, set pieces, remain an option for them. I feel like this game is going to be decided in the first couple of minutes. If Man City get ahead in the first couple of minutes, I think the fragility of Newcastle, maybe some echoes of the last game against Manchester United, might start to set in. I do have to say that I was very, very surprised about the selection, for the actual cup final. And the reaction Eddie Howe had as the game was progressing, because it was very clear that Callum Wilson was not getting service. And when he was getting service, he wasn't doing much with the ball. And you could see the difference that Isaac brought when he came into the game. He was now taking the ball, creating spaces and opening up, and they just couldn't finish at that point in time. I would hope that against Man City, he will play Isaac, because if he does, Man City have been known to have trouble when players run at them at the defense. And so potentially that might open things up for them to nick a goal here or there. Can they do, what they did against Arsenal? Absolutely. So for me, I'm going to look at that game and I'll probably say, Man City are going to win the game. If I'm even going to call a prediction, I'll probably say, 2-1 to Man City. Because right now, Man City just need to win. They don't care how they do it at this point of time in the season. Just get the win, move on.
Festus, the conversation has been that Haaland has made Manchester City weaker, or him in the side has reduced the quality of Manchester City. But we saw Haaland do a lot of link up in their last game, and we saw the team go riot against Bournemouth. Yeah, you can say it's just Bournemouth. I love that. But against Newcastle United, Festus, Newcastle United on the road have considered, I think, about the fewest goals on the road this season already. If I'm not mistaken, I'll confirm that statistics. But at least in their last I don't think they've conceded more than 7 goals in their last 8 away games. And that's how good these guys have been. They're one of the best defensive. They have one of the best defensive.
They are the best, not one of. They are the best. 15.
So,
15 goals they considered all season.
So you put that apart with a United forward that likes to score goals. Let's talk about the battles in that area. Newcastle's defensive record against Manchester City's attack.
Kali, yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle. We've seen what Newcastle has been able to do across board with all the guys they've met. I think this is their second loss, if I'm not mistaken, and unfortunately to the same team. They've only so technically they've only lost to one team in the league, and I think that's Liverpool, home and away. So that means they've not lost to any other team in the league, and that tells you a lot also to their quality. And like we said, just conceding just 15 goals all season tells you a lot also, how strong that defense is. It's not a fluke. But I worry for something. They've not been informed. Something seems a bit odd. I wouldn't say odd. Something seems a bit off in recent times. The last 5 games they've played across the competition, they've only won 1. And they've drawn 2, they've lost 2. And they are not losing well, and they've not been playing well. So see, there is even when you draw, you play like against Arsenal. They played well, they defended well, and they did a whole lot of counter-attacks, and it was an interesting game. We all enjoyed that game. Yet he ended draw, but even the matches they've drawn, they've not really played well, of late. So I worry meeting City, and City has been a yo-yo team to an extent. They've not been that consistent. So you could say meeting a City that is flying on all cylinders. Bournemouth does not count. You mentioned that's the leakiest defense in the Premiership currently. They are atrocious when it comes to defense. So them going all out against Bournemouth does not count, because the same City could lose even against Newcastle. That's how inconsistent they've been. I still worry. I don't see, I can't confidently say, the Newcastle we've been watching over week in, week out, is going to give us this. I think they are beginning to get tired, or beginning to get overwhelmed to an extent. We are going into the running of the Premiership. I think maybe they've gotten to their zenith this season, and gradually, I think it's not free fall yet, but I think gradually they've moved that curve and they are gradually coming down. And if they don't take time, all the good things they did, all the whole accolades, they could lose it, because a whole lot of guys are trying to catch up. Liverpool is trying to catch up. Guys are waking up. So you could see them lose even the opportunity for top 4. They could even lose the Europa spot. So I think for this match, Kali, I want to give it, City will have an edge over it. I think I'll give it to City. I see City taking this, but it's going to be tight, but City will eventually prevail on this. I'm giving it a 2-0 victory or a 3-1 victory. It has to be a 2 goals margin.
Well, I'll be predicting. I think City is going to nick that one, but it's not going to be by much. Right, City, because they concede goals. Nick Pope is back on the side for Newcastle United, but that still won't stop them from conceding 2 goals tomorrow. So I see Manchester City winning that one 2-1. Haaland to score one of the goals in that game, and a De Bruyne assist as well. All right, so let's move over to our second game of the weekend. I think it's the biggest game in the Premier League this weekend, and that's Liverpool up against Manchester United. While there may be an abnormally large 10-point gap between the two, one of Premier League's most prestigious rivalries is this particular game we're going to see tomorrow. Liverpool up, on Sunday, I beg your pardon, Liverpool up against Manchester United. Now, two sides with varying forms. Klopp, finally finding a way to get his team back to playing, proper football, and they are picking points here and there gradually. Eric Ten Hag has found a solution to Manchester United's misfiring problems, the imbalance in the team. He's found a way to pair Casemiro and Fred like they do in the national team, and those two actually complement each other so well. At the back, Lisandro Martinez has become a stalwart in that defense. It's like nothing can go past him, and then whoever they play, Dalot or Wan-Bissaka, they look very brilliant on the ball. They're industrial on the ball. They move very well with the ball. And at some point, we start seeing Wan-Bissaka doing skills with Anthony on the. And I'm like, Wan-Bissaka, but this rivalry over the years has been a very, very feisty one, and it's the kind of one that Festus will normally say that the form books will be torn into shreds in this one. So I'm going to start with you, Festus. Liverpool against Manchester United, Jurgen Klopp against Eric Ten Hag. Where are we going to see the biggest battles on the day?
Kudos to Klopp. He dug in, and he still believed that something could be salvaged this season, and gradually we are seeing Liverpool come back, and they may get something this season because already everybody has written off the season, as one of those seasons where nothing will come up. But I see them getting close to an Europa, if possible, a Champions League spot, because they actually coming to form during the running, and which is a good time to come back in form. Where is the battle going to be? The battle clearly is going to be between what's this guy?
Virgil van Dijk?
Van Dijk and Rashford. That is where the first, because I think he's going to play Rashford centrally. I think, first of all, that's where the battle is. And Van Dijk has not been in top form this season, but gradually he's coming back. Matip also is back. And they're beginning to gel somehow. I don't know. Beginning of the season, I just don't know what happened to everybody. They lost form. Was it physical? Was it? I just don't know what was it. But gradually, you could see even Salah is coming back in form also. I think that's another place the battle is going to be. Salah against Salah is going to play from the flank. So I think Shaw is injured. I saw him a doubt for this match. So if
they need to assess him.
So they're still assessing. But if Shaw is fit, then that's another area where we're going to see the second battle, Salah against Shaw. Those are two places I could easily pick for now. But basically also it's going to be the coach battle. We're going to see a whole lot of tinkering. We're going to see a whole lot of shift in strategy. We're going to see a whole lot of during the game. Before the end of the game, I could see different patterns, different shifts in strategy. As the game progresses, we're going to see how those coaches read the game and interpret the game, the changes they're going to make, and the rest. Now, if you look at win probability, I will always mention, you could even see that the bookmakers are giving this match almost a draw because they are giving Liverpool 40% to win. They are saying Man U 34%. And I know the edge for Liverpool is because they are playing home, and they are giving a draw of 26%. So even the head-to-head in recent time is 3-2, 3 for Liverpool, 2 for Man U. If you add the friendly game, it would have been like a 3-1. So over years, Liverpool has had the better of Man U. But this year, Man U won, I think sometime in August last year, when the Premiership just started. And this is like the revenge mission for Liverpool. Kylie, who is going to win this match? It looks all draw for me. It looks like a game that will end in draw because both teams, Liverpool is coming in form, Man U is in form and been playing well. But I see the fireworks, the history is going to play out here. And being in Anfield, I think Liverpool will not want to go down on this. So I see a draw in this match. I see a high-score draw in this match. So I'm going to give it 2-2.
Femi, from where you sit right now, what do you see? What do you see as the key moments that probably are going to be key, X factors for either side in the game and your predictions?
Well, Rashford will be very central to whatever Man United do. They've got Bruno also in fine form as well. So I don't think you're going to push them away easily. Also, Casemiro, when he plays, they all play better, don't they? So there's a lot there. De Gea is very reliable in goal these days, most of the time, by the odd error in 15, 20 games, which is natural for most goalkeepers anyway. Where I look back at Liverpool at home, it's a tough job for any team. And we're still going to go to Anfield, Arsenal, and I'm not looking forward to it, especially with Liverpool going back into form the way they are right now. And I think, of course, if you look at Real Madrid, they scored two goals first against Real Madrid, remember? So they're capable of actually putting people to the sword early. And I think they will do that to United as well. If United recover like Real Madrid, then amazing. But frankly, I don't see a way for United to win this game, even though they're going to be very strong, very competitive. But I see a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. And Salah will get on the score sheet because he seems to know how to score that customary goal against United. But also what's more important for me is the fact that Van Dijk is back at the back. They got their back 4 feet. And if you go your back 4 feet, that helps. And in the middle, they would have enough support from Fabinho and the boys naturally. But going forward, Gakpo is an option. Jota is fit now. Firmino is fit. They got Salah scoring goals. Nunes has got a couple as well recently. So Liverpool look a strong unit with all their good players, all their strong players back into the team. I don't see United beating that team at Anfield. And especially with the Anfield crowd on top of them as well. So for me, I think with an excellent goalkeeper, Alisson is a better goalkeeper than De Gea as well. So with the Anfield support, I see a 2-1 victory overall. Salah getting one of the goals. I don't know who will get the other. Jota always has a big game moment in him. It's not Arsenal, so he might not score, but maybe Nunes to get the other one. But Salah definitely won. And Rashford may score. It could be anybody for United as well. But a 2-1, absolutely. That's what I see.
So, Eddie, okay, we've agreed that form might not play a part in this one. But when you look at Erik ten Hag and his boys, are you sure you want to totally look away from form and the way these guys have been playing? Yes, Darwin Núñez is coming into form at the right time. Mo Salah is coming into form at the right time and all of that. But you look at Erik ten Hag and that team, especially when they have Casemiro playing in that middle, Lisandro Martinez playing at the back, do you really think we should look away from form in this game?
We can't look away from form because I think there's something to be said about what's happening with Man United right now. They're in a very good place. Everything that they do seems to be working. They're scoring goals. They are recovering from losing positions. They are making substitutions, and the substitutions are coming in and making an impact. So there's something to be said about what's happening with Man United. So they will go to Anfield with a lot of confidence. I just look at the sequence of how this team, despite how great their form is, these two teams don't do very well on the road. United have lost 4 times on the road this season. Liverpool have lost 6 times on the road. And one thing that Liverpool don't do is lose at Anfield. They've lost just once this season at Anfield, despite how badly they've been playing, throughout the whole season. They've still only lost once at Anfield. So there's something to be said about the psychological hold that they have, that they've built over the number of seasons when teams go to Anfield. And so teams go to Anfield and sometimes they adjust the way that they play Liverpool. And that might be what will help Liverpool in this game. I think it'll be closely contested. There are going to be goals scored, no doubt, because we know Liverpool can't really stop things going into the back of their net. And we know that Man United, are getting better defensively, but we know that Liverpool have the weapons to punish them. It's really a shame because the news came out that Firmino might be leaving Liverpool, at the end of this season. So it seems like, Liverpool are re-looking at their strike force and building it for next season. With the likes of Gakpo and David Núñez and maybe Salah still there, contributing. So I see those players playing for pride now.
And can I sneak a word in? Do you think Firmino could do a job for Arsenal from the bench?
Oof.
Why do you want to buy that? Why do we want to buy?
I don't know whether he can get into the Arsenal team.
We don't need him, please.
I don't know if you can get into the Arsenal team.
I said from the bench and given his Premier League experience, could he
No,
help
we
our
don't need.
boys?
No, let's get
We-
people that
we-
understand it and get experience.
We
don't need them.
don't know what we're going to do with Folari yet.
We don't know what we're
doing
going to do
with
for
Nketiah
him.
yet. You want us to
So-
add more
Bring them
problems,
in
please,
and
no.
let them
Fair
try
enough.
them.
Yeah.
All right then. Close the league.
Yeah.
At the time I spring a surprise for the three of you. You heard it here first.
So I look at that game as just saying I think that Liverpool are playing for pride now, right? And pride starts from home. At the Anfield station or stadium, Liverpool are going to want to play for their fans because that's all they have. So for me, I'm going to go with Femi. I'm going to go for a 2-1 result to Liverpool.
And remember, Firmino is Brazilian as well. So you guys are probably not seeing Edu.
We're not talking about Brazil, Arsenal, Firmino, and whatever. We're talking about Liverpool and Manchester United, and I think it's going to end in a draw. I think it's going to end in a score draw. This one I'm not going to say much about it. Yes, what's his name is on very good form right now. Rashford, one of the best strikers in England at the moment, is at least on current form.
I think United have played too many games as well. Kale, he's going to catch up with them
eventually, but not yet, not now. I think for now they still look very good. For now,
okay,
they look very
fair enough.
Good. Maybe when the Europa League
who said
comes
the winning machine? Was it Klopp?
Yeah, but they're winning machine right now, and it's a testament to what Eric Ten Hag has done with the team. So I'm predicting.
I don't think they had. They came to the Emirates and they didn't win. So I don't know what they mean by winning machine.
But since then, how many games have they lost?
They're in a good moment right now. They are scoring goals.
Well, if you can beat Barcelona, Real Madrid couldn't do it yesterday. So if you can beat Barcelona over 2 games as well, you know what you're doing. Trust me.
But I think this
just can't beat Arsenal.
I think this is going to end in a draw. Let's go to our final game of the weekend, guys. My Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Arsenal seems to be also they found a good place. They're in a good place, like Eddie will say. They're in a good place right now. Put to death the ghost of all the February bashings from left, right, and center to Manchester United and the rest of them. And Everton as well. And stuff. The Eddie's mental block, but. I'll start off this one, and I'm not going to analyze it. I'm not going to be analyzing too much. Bournemouth has been piss poor in the league this season. I do not think they are in the class of a team that can stop Arsenal from playing the way they love to play. They don't actually have the players to prevent Arsenal from keeping possession, and that newfound vigor in front of goal, the interchanges between Saka, Martinelli, and what's his name? Trossard up front. I think that is absolutely beautiful, and it's going to be too much for any team to handle. I think they are still studying it right now. It will be before they find a way to stop them, like they found a way to stop Saka and Martinelli with Nketiah in the middle. It's going to take a few more games, and I think Bournemouth is not that team to stop them. So I think Arsenal is going to go on a scoring spree tomorrow, and I see Arsenal winning by 4-0 in that game. Eddie.
I feel like I need to jump in there, and steal some of that because,
I saw you nodding.
because Arsenal playing at the Emirates, I think there is a lot to be said about the confidence that they play at the Emirates. Absolutely. If you look at these two teams, Bournemouth, they don't score a lot. In fact, their goal scoring ratio is Arsenal's goals conceding ratio, which is just ridiculous. They score 0.92 goals per game, and Arsenal concedes 0.92 goals per game. Meanwhile, Arsenal score over 2 goals a game. So for me, over 2 goals is the score line to go for in this game. And just like Carly, I expect it to be at least a 3 or 4 goal victory for Arsenal in this game. So for me, I'm going for a 4-0 to Arsenal. Martinelli to continue with his rich vein of form. I think the game is going to start with the same players because I think there's some doubts about Eddie Nketiah, so he might not actually be starting the game. So I expect the same team that played against Everton to start this game. So I expect the same result, 3 or 4 goals. Femi.
Well, Festus, I'm sure you're listening to Kali and Eddie. I don't sit with them 100%. The reason being, I don't think it's easy playing week in, week out, and playing 2 games per week. So we've had a few games, and I think eventually we'll find a way past them, but I don't see more than 2 goals in this for the Arsenal. It might be 2-0, but also it could be 2-1, because Bournemouth are fresh. They don't have the resources to beat us, but also I think this is just about doing a professional job, which I think Arsenal will want to keep the ball away from them, move it around the pitch, and hopefully carve out 2 opportunities and
who's
save
going to
the
score for them?
Wait, I seriously disagree with Femi.
I'm not saying they will score. I said I'm saying
Femi, there is something you're missing.
Do a professional job, but also I think because we're not the safest at the back, even Everton nearly scored in the last minute. And if Everton had been more clinical, they would have scored against us. They're just very profligate.
I mean,
So
everybody
I'm not
can
saying they
always,
will, but I see
City, they score against them.
Possibly, it could end 2-0 or 2-1.
So for me, Femi, there is something we should really understand now. We have a decent squad. And most of our guys are back. Smith Rowe, you saw him. He has started playing. Vieira is there. They are going to rest some. Arteta likely, for me, this is the game he should rest some players. Really. Because this is the games he should give. He should allow Jorginho back if possible, or possibly give Partey a run of games so that, he gets fit, since he didn't play 90 minutes in the last match. But the likes of Smith Rowe, for me, the likes of Arteta, if possible, Saka should be rested in this match and bring in, let's say, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes to go, depending on how the game, is going. I think the likes of Smith Rowe should play this game. Trossard should really, still play that role. And all those guys that are fringes should come in. It makes like 6-7 regulars and bring in like four of the squad players in, so that you could give some of those guys some needed rest. Saka should rest in this match. I strongly believe he should rest in this match. I think Martinelli, if possible, also should rest. Vieira, Smith Rowe, they're all there. They are decent, and they should be able to win against Bournemouth. And we should still win. Even with these guys, I think we should still beat Bournemouth by nothing less than 3-0. Because Bournemouth is the leakiest defense in the Premiership, Femi. They are atrocious in terms of goals conceded. You need to check the table.
I don't think you've checked how many goals Nottingham Forest have conceded too.
No, not compared to Bournemouth. Check the table.
Let's have
see
a
what
look
Bournemouth has done.
and see how many
Bournemouth
goals
is the worst.
if they're far off from what's it called? If they're far off from
Bournemouth now sit at minus 26 goals. That's the goal difference that they have. So of all the teams, they've considered the most goals.
That's what I'm saying.
So let me just refresh the table.
Nottingham
this is what I love about ESPN. Yeah.
Less.
So ESPN will show you exactly the number of goals everybody scored. So Bournemouth have scored 22 goals and have conceded 48.
Yep.
Nottingham Forest have scored 18 goals, which is less than Bournemouth, and they've conceded 42.
So minus 24.
Exactly. So minus 24 and minus 26. Can you see what I was saying now?
Now what?
Both of them have conceded over 40 goals this season. Yeah. And even Bournemouth have scored more goals than Forest.
I'm not against the goal score.
I understand what you
have a decent defense to take care of that.
If City in all their power, even after just beating Arsenal on a Wednesday, could have gone to Forest and not got more than a goal. Sometimes you take things for granted in football, and you've got to know that.
Remember, you said gone to Forest. Forest at home is difficult to beat. This is the Emirates, Femi. This is the
we're playing at the Emirates.
We are playing behind the fans.
You have 11 men against 11.
Try and be realistic.
They will not come to the Emirates and open
up. So why do you think a lot of teams win? Why do you think the like of Liverpool, who has not played well this season, has not lost at Anfield?
Festus, if we were going to Bournemouth, then it would be an open game and we could score 5 or 6 goals. But they're coming to the Emirates. They would have no ambition to score goals.
Femi,
Your
Let me
argument
just
is
tell
flawed.
you what Bournemouth do away from home.
Your
They've
argument
won
is flawed.
twice, they've drawn
Yeah.
twice, they've lost 8 times. So you're
So
expecting
4,
that Bournemouth,
that means they have a
Bournemouth-
1/3. So 4 against 8. They've got results 4 times. They've lost 8 times. That's what you're telling me.
yes, they've lost
So that
8
means
times.
1 in 3 games, they will get a result. So
And
they're not the
let's
worst
check.
team
If
around.
you check those that they won,
they
who
are
are
the
those they
worst team.
won? They will win like teams like Southampton and those guys within their bracket.
They're the
I don't
worst
think
team
they win any
defensively.
top team.
Yeah, but then when they're coming to a place like the Emirates, yeah, and remember, I don't know how many goals City scored against them, which of course is always going to count against you. But I mean, this is not an argument. I'm just sharing my own thoughts, and I'm not sure you would have enough for me to. I've watched football enough. There's a reason why I'm number 1 in the Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah, we go again.
There's a reason why. I always predict the results the right way because I am more pragmatic than you guys. I don't talk from emotions, I talk from reason. Let's see at the end of the weekend I told you what was going to happen at Villa Park. I know what's going to happen against Bournemouth. Arsenal will keep their energy, keep the ball, be patient, do a professional job. That's what Arteta will be telling them. 2 goals is enough for this game. We'll move on to the next one. But you guys are excited about the fact that we're scoring goals. We don't have any gripes against Bournemouth, like Everton, that we needed to put them in their place. Bournemouth are a game we should win with a professional performance. I don't think it's one where we're going to turn on the styles and try to win 5 or 6-0 and run them ragged. This is where you just work your way towards getting 2 goals, shutting out at the back, being careful, being very professional, keep the ball away from them. If they come forward, you open them up, 1 or 2 goals, end the game. That's what I see. And we'll see when we're back on Monday.
Your crystal ball is flawed. Your crystal ball has cracks.
It may be flawed, but
it has cracks all over it in this game. This game, I see from my own crystal ball, I see this is going to be a wallop. In Emirates, it is going to go the way of Everton. The minimum goals we're going to score in this match will be less than 3.
But can you see, every fantasy team I'm in, I'm number 1 there. There's a reason why I'm number 1. I don't just choose teams.
You're not playing. Are you playing with Bournemouth players? How many Bournemouth players do you have?
Good question.
Well, you're in that same. You're in one of the leagues.
Let me know which Bournemouth players you have.
For work, for our team, for church, even for Arsenal banter teams groups. I'm number 1
advocacy for Bournemouth. Show me one Bournemouth player you have in your team. Let me know.
What do you mean one Bournemouth player? I'm not saying Bournemouth players are these.
We are reviewing Bournemouth against Arsenal, not fantasy.
What I'm saying to you is,
I clearly know. Okay, let me give my prediction. Femi, you're disturbing me. Let me give my prediction for this match. For this match, we are going to win nothing less than 3. I don't see Bournemouth scoring in this game. We are winning minimum 3-0.
Like
I said minimum 3-0. Minimum 3-0. This is going to be a wallop. I don't see any contest in this game. And for me, I hope Arteta rests some of our key players. This is when they need those rests.
And then they get the rest. You might say that's the reason we didn't score.
No, they will be in the squad. They will be in the game. Watch how the first half goes. If we get in those first 2 goals, that is safe. You allow them, push them in 15 minutes to go. But if we're not getting the needed result, push them in as early as beginning of second half and get that 3 points. So
let's do our fantasy
So that's it.